We have a major Bruce Brown trade and free agency update as more details have been revealed about Masai Ujiri's plan for Bruce Brown's contract the offseason and the timeline for a potential trade. Additionally, we have an update of RJ Barrett working out with one of the top prospects in next year's NBA draft, which has some already planting the seeds for Cooper Flagg joining the Toronto Raptors in the future. So lots of stuff to dive into. Let's dive in the first topic of discussion. First thing, Bruce Brown free agency and trade update, because we've heard a ton of reports about Bruce Brown, potential trade destinations, and plans by Masai Ujiri. Well, we knew that Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, the decision is essentially made that they're going to pick up his option into the offseason. But we've heard conflicting things. We've heard a bunch of stuff about whether or not Bruce Brown will stay going into next year, whether the plan is to trade him on draft night, the offseason. What's really going on here now at this point? Well, now Mike Scotto has shined more light on the situation. So we got more confirmation from all the previous reports that the Toronto Raptors are expected to exercise Bruce Brown's $23 million team option. So the worry should be gone about him leaving free agency for nothing. But the plan is to use him as a trade chip entering the off season. So this makes complete sense. Now, I still see some saying, oh, it's not a guaranteed, we should just let him walk and things like that. We've heard a couple of reports from Doug Smith, other Raptors beat reporters. The Raptors are planning on picking up that option, but we didn't get many specific details about whether or not the plan is to try and rehabilitate his value going into next year, because, again, whether they're tanking, whether they're trying to compete, if they're trying to win games, Bruce Brown could potentially help the squad going into next year, but obviously, it seems like, as a lot of Raptors fans are kind of hoping for, given the fact he doesn't fit our team perfectly, the timeline, all of these types of things, the Raptors are going to trade him heading into the offseason. So what does that mean? That means come NBA draft night, the night of the NBA draft, don't be shocked if you see a Bruce Brown trade go down with that option picked up, or at least early on in the offseason. By the wording of that report, it seems like a deal is going to go down sooner rather than later in regards to a Bruce Brown trade. And this is some people split, because Bruce Brown's stats last season haven't been phenomenal, right? 11 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 6'4", obviously still only 27 years old. The three-point shooting, only 32% behind the three-point line, 34% on corner threes. Just didn't really be that utility player for the Toronto Raptors that I think Raptors fans are hoping for him to just really increase his value, be a guy that could net a ton of assets out there on the open market. But that just didn't end up being the case for Bruce Brown during his Toronto Raptors tenure. So people are saying, oh, well, maybe you should just hold on to him, not give 75 cents on the dollar. Well, from different reports, from things we've been hearing, it seems like there's still going to be serious interest for a Bruce Brown trade, regardless of the fact that he didn't play phenomenal, this season. And obviously, we've discussed a ton of different teams on these pods. Recently did a video regarding the Dallas Mavericks after their finals. I don't know if it's going to be a flame out just yet. Hoping they make a little comeback there. Game 5 tonight's going to be very interesting, but Lakers, different squads have already expressed interest in Bruce Brown, and one team that I find interesting that's getting overlooked by a lot of the reports is the Rockets, who Bleacher Report has come out and said that there's plenty of ball handling tied up with Fred VanVleet, Thompson, and Jalen Green. But Bruce Brown does create some in terms of ball handling, and his experience and rim runner inverted pick and rolls would come in handy with the aforementioned playmakers. He can bring some of his defense and attitude that's missing from a lot of other, free agents as well. So the Rockets, by local Rockets beat reporters as well as now Bleacher Report, have essentially linked the Houston Rockets on multiple occasions to Bruce Brown here now at this point. Now, a lot of this discussion is coming in regards to a free agency pickup. They think the Toronto Raptors let him walk for nothing and stuff like that. That doesn't end up being the case, but with multiple reporters essentially linking the Rockets to Bruce Brown, I feel like that's not a coincidence. I don't think that's just something random, because it doesn't really make sense as a glamour destination like the Lakers, like the Knicks, in terms of destinations that would get clicks for a Bleacher Report, for these beat reporters. So it feels like things are being sprinkled out into the media about the Rockets' interest for Bruce Brown, and he's not going to be a free agent. The Raptors are going to pick up that option, as the recent report indicates, but if they are interested in him, there are some interesting assets on the Houston Rockets for a trade to get facilitated. So that's an interesting destination I think people are overlooking. And the Knicks, where Bruce Brown has already spoken out and said, I can do whatever Tom Thibodeau wants me to do. I think the Knicks are a team that's getting forgotten about a little bit because obviously they dealt away Evan Fournier last, at the trade deadline after the Bruce Brown talks kind of fell apart. But the Knicks are a team that I think will want to bolster their wing depth, given all the injuries that they sustained this playoff run. I think they're going to want more and more guys that can play defense, that can step in, can do their things, and try to capitalize on this window. It feels like they've opened up over there in New York because, again, Bruce Brown would do, as he directly quoted, Bruce Brown's interested in joining the Knicks. He will do whatever Tom Thibodeau is sort of expecting of him, and just kind of fits the exact type of player that the New York Knicks would be interested in. Now, obviously, Bruce Brown, there's all this talk, trade chips and stuff, but there was some rumblings that he might stay with the team, especially after posting stuff about his love for Tim Hortons and talking to Raptors fans how he'll prove them all wrong next season about his struggles with the Toronto Raptors, dealing with injuries and stuff. So it might not be a guaranteed thing that he ends up getting traded, but it seems like the Toronto Raptors' plans, according to these reports, are to go in the offseason and try to make a trade. So whether it's with the Rockets, the Knicks, the Mavericks, the Lakers, the Bucks, all these different teams that have been linked to Bruce Brown in recent months, looks like there's going to be a market despite Bruce Brown's struggles in sort of recent games or the last couple months of the season for the Toronto Raptors. So let me know where you guys want to see Bruce Brown get traded, the types of players you'd want back. But let's dive into the next topic of discussion. RJ Barrett recruiting Cooper Flagg. Now, Cooper Flagg is a guy that once Darko Rajaković came out with those quotes about the Toronto Raptors, kind of, hey, we're looking to 2025, 2026 draft classes. This is a multi-year rebuild, things like that. The Cooper Flagg, the lag for Flagg, those memes already picked up. People are already drumming up the tank. You'll have to update this for 2025. Obviously, I'm not interested in it overtly from the start, right from the jump. But Cooper Flagg is a guy that, if we do suck next season, I'd love to bring into this Toronto Raptors team. And basically, pictures of RJ Barrett working out with Cooper Flagg have come out. They have surfaced. Obviously, RJ Barrett being the Canadian newly acquired star for the Toronto Raptors, which is great to see. He's out there working with him. And given Darko Rajakovic's praises of the class, Cooper Flagg just seems like a guy that would be a perfect fit for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, we can look at what the scouts are saying about him. He's from Maine, so close to the border. He's listed at 6'9", 195 pounds, but his versatility is off the charts. The first thing you'll notice about Flagg is the intensity he plays with. He is a relentless competitor who has a never back down type of attitude. Flagg is a true 3-level scorer on offense and an elite, and I mean elite, shot blocker on defense. Offensively, Flagg is confident ball handler who can pull up from 3 or mid-range and put his head down and get to the rim. He has great body control on his drives, and he's also a powerful dunker who embraces contact. He plays above the rim and is an ambidextrous finisher with abnormal coordination for a near 7-footer. Flagg has a soft shooting touch and smooth footwork, and he's a post game, but doesn't have to use it much being in high school because he's already so much bigger and quicker than most players that are trying to guard him. So Cooper Flagg just seems like the type of guy that would be a perfect complement to an RJ Barrett, Scottie Barnes, Immanuel Quickley led team. Again, not saying we should overtly tank at the start of the season, but would be a very, very cool piece to add into the mix of the Toronto Raptors group going into the future. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys best think as far. Subscribe to the channel. I'm signing out. Cheers.